Greetings everybody, I'm Lobo and welcome to Luna. This is episode 108 of my Minecraft survival series, and we've got a little problem in the form of a zombie siege that has taken place within the walls of our city. And let me stress, it's just a little problem because the iron golems around this area, it occurred in this area, and the iron golems around here have pretty much handled it last night, so there's not too much to really worry about here, I don't think. What is a little bit worrying is the fact that we had one this close to the business district in the first place, because, you know, zombie sieges will occur at the outside perimeter of a village, right? And I've done my best to make sure that the village perimeter extends pretty far away from this area. But it does not seem to have worked, or at least it's not working anymore. And I knew something was up when we had a ton of iron golems spawn around here, because it kind of led me to believe that there was, you know, more than one village, you know, in this area. Everybody good? Good? Okay. So that's definitely something that we are going to have to look into, that I'm going to have to figure out, because, you know, my fix for this would be like doors and unloading and reloading and all that stuff. But since villages are going to be different in the new update, and based on, I believe, beds and not doors, and we will be moving to that update shortly, I'm not sure if zombie sieges will work the same way as well. But as for this one, it seems as if everything is pretty good around here. Alright, golems, so I did not actually see what occurred here, but I did see the aftermath, and I gotta say, I'm so proud of you guys. This is just great. Great work with the zombies. You did leave a few. These guys did leave a few for me to take care of, but I'm assuming they just didn't want me to miss out on the action, so everything is good here. Everything's good, deputy? Yeah, everything's good here. Okay. So yeah, I was just finishing up doing my checks and stuff, making sure all our villagers were okay. It doesn't seem like anybody's missing, and the golems have this area pretty much locked down. So yeah, I feel safe leaving it in their hands now. So we can go ahead and move on to today's project. I just had to make sure the guys over here at Wolfins Labs were safe as well, including the magician right here. Did you hear what happened in the business district? That was craziness, right? Anyway, we're going to be working over here in the entrance to the Wolfins Laboratory secured area, our science district today. I do need to get my stuff together first. I kind of started recording a little bit early due to that issue, but it shouldn't take me too long to get prepared. Why am I doing this anyway? Let me put this stuff back together. I don't even know what we're doing over here. That's not even right. Yeah, I need to take a moment. Okay, so here is the plan. There are a few things I know we're going to do here. The first is get a walkway in, and it's going to be the same walkway that we used over here going to the Wolfins Laboratories Visitor Center. And the next thing I know that we're going to need here is an actual wall, kind of separating this, the visitors area, from this, the secured area where nobody is allowed to go. And how I think we're going to do that is kind of use the same block palette that we used over here, because it's all connected to our wall, right? So we're going to use this lime terracotta and this cyan terracotta to maintain a sense of cohesion in this area. And that's the plan as of right now. That's what I know needs to happen first. So I'm going to go ahead and make that happen. And then I'll be back with you guys in just a few minutes, and we can figure out together where to go from there. All right, so I think I may have gotten us to a pretty decent starting point. But I do think I kind of want a clear entrance and exit. So what we might do is go ahead and get rid of this right here and drag this cyan terracotta down to the bottom and make two separate doorways instead of one big one. That way we can have, you know, one be the entrance, probably the one on the right, and the exit will be the one on the left, right? So I think we should probably also mark those, and I kind of want the signs to be above, so let's go ahead and get rid of, yeah, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. Let me do a little bit more here, and then I'll be back with you. All right, here we go. So now I think I've got this figured out how I want it, you know? So this is going to be our entry, authorized access only. This is our exit. So there is only going to be one way into the secure district and one way out of it. And we're going to make the entrance to it a little bit fun, because we're going to have a security system back here set up But we're not going to get there quite yet. That's going to be a little bit later in the episode. What I want to do right now is just go ahead and make some sliding glass doors, which are going to grant us access into our security checkpoint area where we'll get our badge looked at and our identification verified, make sure we actually need to be back here, you know? So how I think we're going to do this is go ahead and kind of make a little corridor that you have to walk through to get to our security checkpoint. And it's going to be fairly basic, you know, we'll just use the smooth stone slab roof, the cyan terracotta walls and stuff like that. And, you know, it's going to be very narrow as well because, you know, it's not supposed to be welcoming. It's supposed to kind of, you know, make people stay away from this area. But let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to actually get these doors to slide out of the way. We're going to use pistons right here to move the cyan terracotta walls. I just lost that dirt block. That's okay. So we'll use one up here as well. So these pistons are going to actually pull our walls away and grant us access to the glass, which is going to look something like this once they are actually activated and retracted. And then what we're going to do is pull this glass out to the side here. So I think how we're going to end up doing that is just by putting a couple pistons. I need to kind of space this out a little bit better. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. No, that's not going to work. This back piston right here, the back piston I just put in, that's not part of this system. We're just going to have a single piston extender right there and another one right there. So ignore those back pistons. It's not going to be a double piston extender. But this is just going to go ahead and pull our glass out of the way. I just broke that piece of glass, didn't I? I needed that. All right, but yeah, that's basically what's going to happen. That's how our door is going to open. Now, I do need to go ahead and get this thing wired up and figure out how to wire it up. So yeah, I'll be back with you guys in just a little bit once I kind of work that out. And that should be it for our wall retraction mechanism. So let's go ahead and test this thing out. I do have a pressure plate set up over here. So when we walk over this, our wall should retract just like that. But I don't really like the fact that it's staggered. I think I would really like for those to open up more simultaneously. So what we could probably do then is get rid of this torch tower and replace that with a sticky piston pushing some slime blocks and a redstone block up there. So basically what should happen is once this receives a signal, this is going to activate that bottom piston and also this piston, and that should activate everything up there all at the same time. Theoretically, let's go ahead and give this a shot. So we'll step on our pressure plate, and that is nice. It doesn't close as smoothly as it opens, but you know what? For our purposes, I think that is acceptable. So yeah, now we have to figure out how to activate these pistons and retract that glass. We're probably gonna have to put the wall retractors on a pulse extender to keep them open a little bit longer. But yeah, I'll figure all that stuff out now. So let me go ahead and explain how I want this to work. I want these pistons to retract our wall, right? And once that's retracted, I want these pistons over here to pull back that glass. And that's going to give us some time to walk through, and it's going to push the glass back into place. But then these sticky pistons have to retract again while leaving the glass where it is, so that way the walls can push back into place. Make sense? Otherwise, you know, the vertical pistons are going to be like pushing into the horizontal pistons, and that's not going to work. So I think an observer should solve that issue by giving us a short enough pulse to basically spit out those glass blocks. So let's go ahead and test this out. So there is our opening sequence, and the opening is good. And then we'll have our closing sequence, which works. It works. Yes. Yes, that's awesome. Okay, so close behind me. We probably have a little bit longer delay than we actually need, but you know, I don't want to get trapped in here, so I think a long delay is good. All right, so yeah, that works. That is how we're going to work these glass doors. Now, I do have to fill this in and kind of clean up my mess, and also I want to use the same mechanism for our exit. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that wired up, and it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing. So I'm not going to drag you guys through that process again. I went ahead and got everything built in here on the exit side, and we're just making sure that everything is fully operational at this point. And that looks to be pretty good. And of course, our entrance is hopefully still working just as it should be. Maybe? Close? Yes? that might be too long of a delay. Well, I'll think about that. But yeah, everything seems to be working just fine in here. Now, we don't want everybody to be able to come and go from this area as they please. So we'll go ahead and start work on our security checkpoint area, which is going to make sure that nobody that's unauthorized is going to be able to access this area. And I think I'm going to have this corridor kind of like curve around here and have the security checkpoint off to the side. So that way, like when you're looking in through this glass door, you kind of can't really see what's happening to the people that try to scam their way into the area, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this laid out a little bit, try to get the general shape of it and figure out what I'm gonna be doing here. And then once I have a pretty good idea, then I'll come back and tell you guys what the plan is. All right, plan time, everybody. Let me get out of here and I'll kind of walk you through what the procedure is going to be like when you enter our authorized access only area. So the door is going to open and it's going to curve around here. Now, I think this wall is going to end up being solid because we don't want to see this, right? But we are going to have a window right here so you can kind of see our security system, which is going to be housed in the big room right here. So once you end up over here, this is where you're actually going to hand over your ID card and be granted access into the secured area of our science district through this sliding glass door right here. And we'll probably end up using the same mechanism that we did for these doors right here, just hooked up to a different system where it reads your ID card in order to let you pass. Now, that is assuming you do have an ID card, because if you don't, there will be consequences. So jumping forward a little bit, I do have the general layout of this place in now, and I also have our third sliding glass door of the episode wired up. Now for this door, as I said, instead of using a pressure plate like we did over here, what we're actually going to be using is our ID badge to open the door. Now I don't have the item sorter set up yet to make sure only our ID badge can access this door, but I can show you generally how it's going to work. So once an item goes in here, our ID badge basically, once our ID badge ends up in here, this is what's going to activate this system and open our door. Just like that. Now, the way we get our item back is by walking through the door and stepping on this pressure plate, and that will also cause the door to close. So once we get that piece of redstone that we put in there back, our door should close behind us. I really probably should do something about the delays here, but that is the basic idea. Now I do still need to do some work here and kind of get an item sorter and make sure our ID badge, only our ID badge, will end up in this dropper right here, while any other item put into the system will go somewhere else and activate something else. Now, in order to make sure our system recognizes the official Wolfins Laboratory ID badge, I've gone ahead and made these up in the exact same way we made up our previous ID badges, including 2 spaces after Wolfins. So hopefully we can use the same badge in all of the secured areas of Wolfins Laboratory. We just have to make sure they are actually the same by trying to stack them. So let's see if they actually do stack. Yes. Yes. All right, so let's test this out. We're going to try to fool our security system here. I've made up a fake ID, which says totally not a fake ID. So you know it's a really good counterfeit, right? And we'll go ahead and throw this in our system and see where it actually goes. If it causes our door to open, that means we failed. If it doesn't cause our door to open, then it will activate this, which actually is going to go to our security system and dole out whatever punishment is necessary for trying to break into Wolfins Laboratory. So let's go ahead and see what happens if you're authorized personnel. So if you come in here and you have your actual ID and want to get through this door, what you're going to do is throw your ID badge into this dropper right here. And then what should happen is it should pop up into this water stream right here. But not out of it. There's going to be a floor here, so things won't shoot out of it like that. There will actually be a floor here, but it will go into that dropper and make its way into that dropper over there. I said dropper when I meant hopper the first time, but that's going to allow us to pass through, collect our ID badge back, and then the door will close behind us, and that's that. And now it's time to get started on our security system. Now, as you may have guessed, it's going to be a little bit dangerous. So the first thing I want to do, because safety first, right? The first thing I want to do is go ahead and make up our little caution tape around it to mark off the dangerous area, which will be our yellow terracotta and our black concrete that we've used in several other Wolfins Laboratory builds that have some dangerous aspects to them. So what I think we're going to do for the security system is we already have one Wolfins robot prototype inside the visitor center, right? We have the PK01 Peacekeeper robot. Now, this is going to be the second in this series of Wolfins Laboratory Robots. What I think we're going to build here is the SB01 CERBERUS security bot. And we're going to have this guy standing right here directly in front of the dropper, just staring you in the face as you put your ID badge in there, just for the intimidation factor. So it better be the right thing, or else you're not making it past this point, right? So yeah, let me go ahead and figure out how we're going to get this thing wired up. And, you know, I guess I'll go ahead and show you that we are going to be using fire charges shooting out from these dispensers. I always place the observers the wrong way. But yeah, this guy's going to be shooting out some fire charges in case somebody decides to try to get one over on him. All right, so the wiring is in place, going first underground, then working its way up his tail and through the rest of his body. So yeah, this is basically the circuitry done in his skeleton. Now there's going to be more to him than this because I want different sections to this guy. I'm trying to come up with the concept for how we're going to do future Wolfins robots. And I want there to be different sections. Like we'll have the skeleton and the circuitry, and then on the outside of that, we'll probably do like an armored shell. And I'm thinking maybe quartz for that because I don't want it to be too gray. You know, I want to add some different colors in there, some variety, so you can see the different sections of this guy. And then we'll probably do the legs like right outside of that. I think we got enough room because we could do the armor right here and the legs right here, right? So yeah, that should work out. This guy is going to be fairly short though, but he needs to be because, you know, I kind of need his face like equal with my face for maximum intimidation and effectiveness. So yeah, let me go ahead and try to figure out how we're going to actually be building these guys up. Okay, let's see how this looks as far as his like armor, his quartz armor. This is harder than I thought it was going to be honest with you. It's really hard to get like a shape that I actually like in here, you know? But I think we are maybe on the right path. Either that or I've just been doing this for way too long now, like scrutinizing every block I place. But yeah, this is definitely a different kind of building for me, something different than what I'm used to. So it's going to take me a little while to, you know, kind of get this process streamlined and figure out what actually needs to be done. But I think we're on, you know, a track. I was going to say the right track, but I'm not going to go that far. We're on a track. Now, as far as the legs go, I think we're going to switch up our blocks and go with prismarine instead. The reason for this being twofold. First of all, I want there to be a clear separation between the body and the legs so that we can actually tell the difference, right? The second reason is I don't want to use too much quartz because quartz is expensive. Prismarine, we get easy. Quartz is a little bit harder to come by. It requires a lot more time investment on our part. And since we're going to be doing several Wolfins robots, I'm not quite sure how many, but since we're going to be doing, you know, quite a few of these guys, I think it would make sense to, you know, kind of vary up the blocks a little bit with stuff that we do have a good amount of. And also keep in mind that the SB01 CERBERUS prototype that we're building right now, he is a prototype security bot. So for future robots in this series or future robots in Wolfins Laboratory in general, the design will probably change and improve, you know, as is the nature of, you know, building stuff over and over again. One thing I am not really sold on is this guy's intimidation factor. Like the dispenser faces, he just looks surprised all the time. So there is something I want to try real quick. If we have, we only have 2 skeleton skulls. That's okay. We can try the 2 and possibly get a third one if we end up having another thunderstorm anytime soon. I'll keep an eye out for that. And we'll get some charged creepers and some skeleton skulls if this ends up working out. Because I'm not sure if the fire charges will actually end up shooting through the skulls or if that's going to kind of stop them, you know, and set himself on fire. You know, we don't want him to set his own face on fire. So let's go ahead and see if we can get these on there and give this guy a quick test and see if this, ooh, Yes, that's so much better. That is so much better. Okay, let's put another one on this guy right here. I already have one fire charge loaded into each of these dispensers, but we do need to go ahead and get our fake ID so that way we can activate him and set Cerberus into full-on bouncer mode. So yeah, we'll go ahead and throw our fake ID in here, and hopefully the fire charges shoot through these skulls, which it looks like they do. It looks like they do. Okay. We do need a third skull though. And we'll get that eventually. But let me go down here and collect my totally not a fake ID, which is got shot out of this dropper right here on top of this nether rack. This is basically how we're going to dispose of any unwanted items in our system, you know? We're just going to shoot them down on top of this nether rack right here, which is going to be set on fire and dispose of those items. But then again, what happens if I accidentally put my pick in there or something? Yeah, maybe we'll not do that. And we'll do like a chest and just store the items instead. That seems like a better option. So that's probably as much as we can do for the SB01 today, unless we end up getting a thunderstorm at some point pretty soon. So while we're waiting for that to happen, what I want to do is kind of, you know, continue to crank up the intimidation factor. I want to build a room that's going to house this guy and encase him in shadow, because he's a little too bright and happy right now in the colors that we've chosen for him. So yeah, I want to go ahead and get a room built in, and maybe even just do the entire interior of this building, because I mean, it's just like this room and then some corridors surrounding it, right? So at this point, why don't we go ahead and do that? Why don't we go ahead and call Watchdog on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get some work done. Okay, welcome back oh, it's a little too small in here to be doing that, a little too cramped, you know? Nope, there, okay. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. And as you may have noticed, we did get some rain during that time lapse, but it was just a shower. We got no thunder, so therefore no skeleton skulls. So I thought for now, temporarily, we can go ahead and substitute that for a wither skull, because we do have some of those that we can spare, which is interesting because wither skulls are arguably much more useful. So before I take you... okay, well, before I take you guys over there, we're going to handle this first. Ow, I set myself on fire. Oh, stay back, doggies. I got this. I got it. Where did you come from? Where? Oh, please do not tell me we are in the midst of another zombie siege. Please do not tell me that. Where did they come from? Okay. Well, you know, watch that. Keep on the lookout, doggies. Keep an eye open. I'm going to go check on the business district and the farming districts. Okay, well, everything seems to be in order here. I'm just going to check in with Sheriff Farah right here. Say, Sheriff, you haven't noticed anything suspicious, have you? No? Okay. So yeah, I mean, it looks like everything's good here. They must have just been like a normal pack spawn from an area that wasn't lit well enough up there. At least I hope so. And it seems that all our villagers at Wolfins Laboratory are good as well. They're just kind of milling about without any regard to the fact that I almost got my face bitten off by a zombie. But yeah, let's go ahead and review what we've done today. So I'll go ahead and walk you through the security center of Wolfins Laboratory's secure district. So authorized access only. We can go ahead and enter. Nothing special is needed to enter here, but from right here, you can see the Wolfins SB01 CERBERUS security bot prototype, which we are going to have to give our ID to because an ID badge is required beyond this point. So let's go ahead and give this guy his final face, which you can hardly see. Yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and replace this with one of the regular skulls once we actually get one. So that's just temporary. But let's go ahead and see how good this guy is at his job. So we'll enter our totally not a fake ID badge in here and promptly get shot with a fireball to the face. So yeah, this guy is great at spotting fake IDs, which of course he would be, right? That's his job. That's his sole purpose, is to spot those fake IDs. So good job, Cerberus. You're doing great. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my real ID in here, and I'm going to need you to not shoot me this time. I just need you to check it. Okay, he's looking it over. That's good. You can hear him kind of like, is this legit? He's kind of freaking me out here. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, so he does open that door for us that we can pass through, collect our ID badge back, and that is that. And of course, we only got the interior of this building built. The exterior is far from done because we're going to be doing different stuff here in the Wolfins Science District. You know, when we go to the different districts, I like to experiment with new build styles and doing new things like we've been doing today. You know, I want to try all kinds of new stuff when we come back to this area. So we'll have to figure all that out eventually. But there is one more thing I want to show you, but we do have to circle back around here. And you know what? This is a secret, so keep this between you and me, okay? But I kind of gave myself a little bit of a back door in case I don't actually want to carry my ID badge on me. So back here behind Cerberus, we do have a little maintenance hatch that I've given myself that goes down here. And from down here, we can also collect anything that ends up in the, you know, any fake IDs or whatever else ends up in that system. But this also can lead me up here, and I have another secret trapdoor hidden behind the desk over here by our entrance. And yeah, this is how I'm actually going to gain access to this area because I honestly don't feel like carrying that ID around on me everywhere. And I know that sounds like kind of a security risk, but I mean, honestly, what could Wolfins Laboratory possibly have to hide? Anyway, I think that is going to do it for us today, guys. So if you have enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. And as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.